Welcome, everyone. Welcome to our candidate forum, our June candidate forum. I'm Ellen Floyd, and this is Julie Andrzejewski. And we're welcoming everyone, and we're going to start with... Okay, can everybody hear me? Okay, good. So I'm Julie Andrzejewski, and this year we tried something different. To reduce stress on ourselves and on all the candidates, we're experimenting with co-hosting a candidate forum for our candidates. So we're eager to hear your feedback and suggestions. If you have them, please get them back to us and to all of the co-hosting organizations, because we want to evaluate how this went and see if this is a good model or what changes we need to make if we want to do it again. So today, some of the co-hosts will begin with a welcome. We'll start with Jen Strickling.
Hi, I'm Jen. I'm with the 25th Legislative District Democrats. I'm the current chair, and I'm really excited because we have some amazing candidates running, like probably the most impressive slate of candidates running in the 25th, and I'm thrilled about it. So yeah, that's what I have right now. So if please donate all of the money that you have to my candidates. We'll take door knockers too.
Okay, Kimber Starr from LD 29.
I don't even know if I need this. Hi, my name is Kimber Starr. I'll just do the whole thing. Osio Dagwado Anagaliska Naksi Tasi Salagi Tasi Utsikaya. Hello, my name is Kimber Starr. I am a citizen of the Cherokee Nation, descendant of Muskogee Creek. I am also the chair of the 29th District Democrats. I don't know how to say that in Cherokee yet. And I'm really happy to be here and to be partnering on this particular event. And I would like to take a moment to have a group selfie from a podium. If we could lean in and do that.
And now we have Celia Warren from the Women's Think Tank Tacoma.
Thank you. I'm with Women's Think Tank Tacoma, and we are a postcard writing group. And we have, our strategy has been to write to all of the 6 swing states. We have written over 5,000 cards in the last 4 months. To Arizona, Nevada, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Georgia. If anybody would like to join postcard writing, we can give you the details. They're in a card up there on the volunteer table. It's just a little single card, and it tells you everything. Thank you. Just like that. Thank you.
And now Sharon Remigan from both Pierce County Democrats and LD 28.
Thank you. Remigan.
Yeah, Remigan.
Thank you. Hi. Well, welcome everyone. And I'm so excited to be here and that we're doing this thing together. All of us together, because that's how we need to be. We all need to be together. If we don't like each other, you gotta love each other. Okay? Yeah.
Thanks so much. And we really thank all the groups that have been participating this year. And we're looking for Brian Humphreys. We're really pleased to be here at the Bryant Neighborhood Center. And Brian is going to tell us a few words about that. Thank you.
It was almost the Bryant Neighborhood Center. Good afternoon. Thank you for being here. I'm the sweaty Brian Humphreys because we had a bigger turnout than expected. I had to grab a bunch of chairs. I am one of the elders here at Trinity, and I have been on the board for the Bryant Neighborhood Center since its inception. I could and have gone on for hours about the work of the BNC, the many, many programs we have in this facility, given the very small staff, and the relationships we have throughout the city, but especially in the Bryant Neighborhood Center. I won't belabor the point because we have a lot to do. I will just say one thing, the thing we are most proud about here at the BNC, which is everything we do, the space, the design, the aesthetics, the relationships, the language, the programs, are all a direct result of what the community told us they needed and wanted from a community center on the north side of the hilltop. So we actually paired up and we knocked on every door in the Bryant neighborhood twice. gather the data, and everything we do is a result of that and subsequent ongoing feedback. So if you didn't know about us before this event, I hope you will continue to be in relationship with us and stay up to date. Our bathroom is over here, and it's a little bit embarrassing if you choose to use it. You will see why this is our next big priority in our current funding project. If you want access to the nice bathrooms, come give me a little tug and I'll lead you upstairs.
And Brian is going to just give a short welcome from LD 31, and then Barb, we'll turn it over to Barb.
Yeah, hi. My name is Brian Gunn. I am Vice Chair of the 31st Legislative District Democrats, and we're happy to co-sponsor this event. The Indivisibles are a wonderful group and have really spurred a lot of interest among people who don't necessarily like to come to meetings that are run by Robert's Rules. So. But that doesn't mean that they're not politically engaged and that they don't want to help. So very happy to have joined in to help support this event. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Barb Church, and I'm a member of the Conversation 253. We are a social and racial justice group in the city of Tacoma and South Sound. We have been allies with Indivisible because of how they so much align with the values of the Conversation. And the Conversation rarely endorses a candidate, but we did endorse Devin Kelly because of all of his racial and social justice work that he's done. So I'm sure with our alignment with Indivisible, we'll be endorsing more in the future. Thank you. We acknowledge that we stand and work on the stolen land, the traditional land of the homelands of indigenous peoples who have lived here from beyond memory. We want to express our deep gratitude and respect for our indigenous neighbors, the Puyallup, the Nisqually, the Muckleshoot, Squaxin, and Steilacoom for their enduring care and protection of our shared lands and waterways. We recognize that this statement is only one small step towards true allyship and dismantling the ongoing legacies of colonialism and white supremacy. We commit to uplifting the voices, experiences, and histories of indigenous peoples of this land through all of the work that we do here at Indivisible.
Thank you. And we are so grateful to our sponsors, and Indivisible Tacoma has been doing this work for a while, and a lot of our leaders are here. We have Vicki and Demita, and Barb is on our steering team, and I saw Pat and a couple other people. I don't know where they went. Anyway, but thank you to our leaders and Megan, the people who do the work day in and day out, who organize our events and help us so much. So I want to thank Indivisible leaders and also give a big, huge thanks to Dan Villa, our amazing videographer who makes a great product for everybody to use. So.
Hi, I'm Demita. Thanks for coming. For 7 years, Indivisible Tacoma has worked hard in collaboration with other groups to elect progressive leaders. We're excited to do this meaningful work. Now we have to respond to the urgency of 2024. We imagine how much energy we can build for these great candidates who will work for the common good and justice. It takes determination and courage to file for office, to stand up for our values. Today's outstanding candidates face challenging campaigns. We are grateful to get to work for good candidates, and we will work hard for them. We already have been working very hard for them, as you'll hear soon. We will share many ways that you can help with elections this year. We want to direct your attention, energy, resources towards success, placing campaign signs, donating postcards, and knocking on doors. So now we're going to hear from Vicki, who's going to talk more about that. Thanks.
Hi, everyone. My name is Vicki, and welcome to our forum here. Recently, a member of Indivisible Tacoma, her name is Imelda Mead, she passed away, and she was one of our avid door knockers. We really miss her a lot. So we really miss Imelda a lot. And one of the things she said to me, she said, the reason why I door knock is because I am concerned about my children and my grandchildren, future generations, and what we're leaving them. And it's so important to talk to people at the doors, face to face. I mean, writing postcards are great, telephone banking, it's great, but face to face, many people do not know about the candidates that we're knocking on doors for, and they do not know about the issues. Newspapers are gone, just about, and all we have are television and social media, but they don't necessarily cover, especially local races. So it's so important to door knock. And you can be the difference in whether a candidate wins by simply knocking on one door. And if you think about that for a second, it's very powerful. So we go out in teams, and there are different roles. Consider volunteering as a canvasser or even to be a driver. Drivers are essential to a door-knocking team. Thank you very much.
All right, this is the part where we are going to ask the candidates to come up and introduce themselves. And they will speak for 3.5 minutes each. And we have a timekeeper right here in the second row. And he will give you I think it's a 15-second warning. Is that right? A warning. Yeah, 15 seconds it says, and then we'll tell you when it's time. Your time's up. But that way we can get everybody in. So the candidates you're going to introduce yourselves and come on up. The first couple on the list can come on up and line up, and we'll get started. Thank you so much.
Great. Don't start yet. Okay, ready? Go. Hi, I'm Sal Mungia. I am a candidate for the Washington State Supreme Court. I'm an attorney in town. I'm in my 40th year of practicing law, and in my 3.5 minutes, which isn't very much, tell you just a little bit about myself, some of the stuff I've done, which hopefully will tell you about my values, and then the people supporting me, which again will hopefully tell you about my values. So what drove me to become an attorney was seeing how my parents were mistreated. Okay, and I won't give you the longer story. Just believe me, I'm a son of immigrants. My mom came from Japan. My dad came from Mexico. I was raised in the early 60s. So you can't imagine we did not have any cultural acceptance out then. We just had downright discrimination. So that drove me to go into law school because I said that isn't going to happen to me or my family, because I saw how this one guy on TV named Perry Mason could speak up for others. That's what drove me there, absolutely. So I went to PLU locally, then went straight to Georgetown Law School, came back because I am a Tacoma boy. And usually when I say that, yeah, but then actually someone says, no, you're actually from Lakewood, Sal. You're putting on airs. So I'm a Lakewood boy, born and raised there. As soon as I started private practice with Gore and Thomas Honeywell, my law firm in 1986, I signed up to become a cooperating attorney with the ACLU so that I could be that voice for those who could not speak on their own. So I have represented people incarcerated in Pierce County Jail in a class action lawsuit in federal district court over overcrowding and inadequate health care. I just finished up a lawsuit against King County over their jail. We are just finishing up the settlement papers. I've represented people in Northwest Detention Center who are incarcerated there to defend their right to engage in a hunger strike because they are protected under the Constitution, and that's a First Amendment right. Yes. I love speaking out on behalf of others. That's the best thing about being an attorney. Let me just tell you briefly about who supported me. One, she's right here, Lori Jenkins. Thank you, Lori, so much. I am endorsed by 8 of the 9 current state Supreme Court justices. So the people who are up there right now are saying Sal has the qualities and qualifications to do this job. I'm endorsed by 3 Washington State governors, Governor Inslee, former Governors Gregoire and Locke. I'm endorsed by Bob Ferguson, Mike Pellicciati, over 50 elected officials. I'm endorsed by over 100 active and retired judges from around the state. Again, people who know my legal work. I'm worried about this guy's going to put up that red sign. But I'm really proud of being endorsed recently by labor groups. I'm endorsed by, because I'm a former union member, worked during high school and college in a union grocery store, and I saw the difference between the way I was treated, the way my mom was treated, who was not able to work in a union place. So I'm endorsed by the Washington Labor Council, Washington Federation of State Employees, Washington Education Association, PAC. So I'm just going to end up this way. Wow, I didn't even see that red sign. Asking you, so Mungia, we're down ballot. There he is. Please tell your family and friends, get down the ballot, and please vote for me if you like what you heard. Thank you so much, and thank you for coming out here.
Good afternoon. My name is Dave Upthegrove, candidate for State Lands Commissioner. And first, I want to say thank you to Indivisible Tacoma for your endorsement and the work you're doing. Our world is changing. We are experiencing the impacts of climate change all around us. We're seeing a rapid loss of biodiversity, and I'm running to improve the management of our public lands to meet these realities of today. And this is not a stepping stone to higher office for me. In fact, I'm running to take a pay cut. It's the culmination of a life and career spent on environment and natural resource issues in the legislature and on the King County Council. My agenda is really simple. Number one, let's protect our clean air, clean water, and habitat. And that also means, on day one, signing a mature forest policy that ends the destruction of our mature legacy forests. I also want to make sure, number two, that we're improving wildfire prevention and response, and number three, expanding recreational opportunities on our public lands. But you know what's important to me is stay grounded in our progressive values. And one of those values that's important to me is the value of justice. You know, I came out of the closet the year I first ran for office. And my mentor at the time said, "I love you, Dave, but it's too bad because now you can't run for office." Because this was 23 years ago. And the thought of an out gay legislator deep in the working class suburbs of South King County was unheard of. But I ran, won, and made history as the first out LGBT legislator outside the city of Seattle in the history of our state. And I share that. Yep, here's that. I share that because what drove me back then still drives me today, that passion for justice, LGBT equality, racial equality, gender equality, fighting for tribal treaty rights, labor rights. I'm the son of a father with disabilities, the brother of someone who's overcome addiction and criminal justice involvement. So this commitment to justice is personal. And when it comes to our public lands, environmental justice means recognizing that climate change disproportionately impacts low-income communities and communities of color, and our solutions need to reduce those disparities, not make them worse. This is going to be a hard fight. I'm taking on corporate power. The timber industry, their corporate executives, their lobbyists are pouring money into the campaign coffers of the other leading Democrats for this office. I'm the only candidate who's not accepting contributions from the timber industry. I'm the only candidate who's committed to ending the destruction of our mature legacy forests, and importantly, doing it in a way that nurtures rural economies, creates jobs, and fully funds our public services, including our schools. With 5 Democrats and 2 Republicans in this race, we are at serious risk of 2 Republicans advancing if we don't continue to consolidate behind the environmental community. I'm proud to have the sole endorsement of the Sierra Club of Washington, the sole endorsement of Washington Conservation Action, the sole endorsement of the Pierce County Environmental Coalition, the sole endorsement of the Washington State Democrats Environment and Climate Caucus. We're going to win this from the bottom up, from Indivisible, Washington Community Action Network endorsed, our Revolution National PAC endorsed. We're going door to door, house by house, and I need your help. My name's Dave Upthegrove, candidate for State Lands Commissioner.
All right, the list says I'm next. Hi, my name's Marty Campbell. I'm running for Pierce County Assessor Treasurer. I want to thank Invisible for holding this today and for your endorsement and support. Now, I saw when I said Pierce County Assessor Treasurer, everyone got really excited. Because it's by far the most exciting race happening. It's not. But it is, because we have a primary, actually a contested primary. Unlike a lot here in Pierce County, we're having 2 people, they're moving through. We have 3 people in this race, 2 Republicans and myself, a Democrat. But it's nonpartisan, which means they don't have to show their values on that ballot. And let me tell you, they're doing everything they can to hide those values and to make sure that they're confusing as to where they're at. I'm running for Pierce County Assessor Treasurer because we need someone in that office with county level experience. I grew up on a small farm in Omaha, Nebraska. Found my way out here in the early 90s, opened up my first to 2 small businesses. So I understand what it is like to run that small business, and leading in small business and in the community. That led me to get on Tacoma City Council, and then now on Vice Chair of the Pierce County Council. And through all that, I've learned what it is that our businesses need to go through, but more importantly, why it's important that we have strong tax policy in our governance. I've had a chance to get out and talk with many of these small taxing districts, school districts, park districts, fire districts. And they say when they go out for a bond and a levy, they spend all their time trying to tell people why they're actually out doing a vote, why they're asking for more, and how the voting system works and how the taxing system works. That isn't their job. That's the job of the assessor treasurer, to make sure people have the civic knowledge of what all these bonds and levies, why we're asking for them, and why that is the way we do taxes here. Their job is to make sure that they put together a good package and tell the voters what they're going to do to improve their lives. So I'm running to make sure we have better communication, fair and efficient taxing systems, and really just better customer service within all of our government offices. It's one office that a lot of people connect with. How many got their little green cards? You know, a lot of them got it this week, and a lot of them are upset, let me tell you. But I'm willing to stand there and listen and talk them through and why it's important and what it can do for them. And so I just really appreciate your support. I'm really going to need your support all the way across this county. We're talking 900,000 people live here. That's larger than 5 U.S. states. Running county-wide is not easy. And particularly when, if I get out and I do really well and I knock 5,000 doors, we're going to have 500,000 voters in the primary. I haven't even touched 1%. And so I need everyone to talk to 2, 5, 10 friends and say, this nonpartisan race, this is important. Because we need to make sure that all across Pierce County government, that it is a blue county government, that we put our stamp on Pierce County. It is no longer the county in Puget Sound that has Republicans running it and Republicans in charge. We need to make sure that we're getting back to our roots and our values. I appreciate the support.
Well, good late afternoon to all of you. I'm Senator Tawana Nobles. I'll try to be as loud as possible because I won't be taking my mask off. But I'm running for re-election. I feel very honored to be here. Just 4 years ago, we flipped the seat that I represent after 60 years of Republican control. And we tried many times over those 60 years, but it definitely took the right political climate, the right type of candidate, the right type of change and momentum in our district, and we were able to be successful. But our district is not safely blue. We still definitely have a district where we have to work really hard. And it took me some time to decide if I wanted to run for re-election because I love to serve my community. And politics itself can be a very toxic place, a place that sometimes will push people to forget their values or leave their values behind. And I stand here knowing that while I have my own values and the values of my community and the values of my ancestors and my family who raised me, I also represent many of the values of Indivisible and the conversation. And before I talk about some of the work that we've done over the past 4 years, for those of you who are not clear on the values of those groups, Indivisible lists their values as equity, race, gender, LGBT+, disability, reproductive choice and contraception, good wages, jobs and labor rights, democracy and voting rights, health care and expanded Medicare, safeguarding public lands and wildlife, economic justice and tax fairness, clean water, air, soil, and food, amongst other priorities that I share as values. And so when I decided I wanted to run for re-election, I had to consider multiple things. One, I feel very honored that in my first term as a freshman legislator, I've been able to move into leadership. I serve on our small leadership team as our majority whip, and I also have the honor of serving as a committee chair, which is not a given. It's not based on seniority. It's based on multiple factors, including the trust of your caucus, being elected by your caucus, having wisdom and expertise in the area in which you may be serving as chair. And so I serve as the chair of the Higher Education and Workforce Development Committee. And again, thank you. feel very honored to do so. I still serve as the only Black woman in our state Senate, and that's not something to be proud of because there still are only 2 Black people in our state Senate. So there is so much more work that we need to do as far as representation for the Black community in our state Senate and representation in general. Although, yes, there are more people of color, but to only have 2 Black women in our state's history have served in our state Senate is not something to be proud of. But I do see it as a true honor, and I know that I need to be responsible with this opportunity. So I've been very proud to work on important pieces of legislation like free school meals and broadband access for our students, increasing access to financial aid for students, fighting for our military families, and making sure that we continue to prioritize our communities that are underserved, our communities that are marginalized. I've also been a champion for legislation that meets a lot of our real community needs, including keeping our communities safe. I was one of few legislators that did not vote to roll back police pursuits, because it's important to make sure that we actually keep our communities safe. So again, I feel very proud to represent our community, but I wake up every day keeping our values first and making sure that I represent who I am and who my community needs. Thank you.
Well, good afternoon. I'm Mari Levitt, and I get to be Senator Noble's seatmate, and we are so grateful that she's running again, and we need her to come back to the Senate. I've served in the legislature, just finished up my 6th session, so thank you, Indivisible members who have knocked on doors and written postcards and made calls and contributed, and all of your efforts and parades and everything that you've done over the last 6 years. I would not be here without you, and I'm well aware of that. So I'm very, very grateful to you. Also grateful to have worked on a host of issues over the last 6 years with my colleagues in the House and the Senate, whether it's working on housing. When I started, the Housing Trust Fund was at $150 million. This past session, we cleared $527 million in just 6 years. And that's Democrats. Democrats did that. We also protected our election workers. We know that our election workers are under fire. They don't get paid very well, and we want to make sure that our democracy is protected, so we protected our election workers this year, and that's a big deal. And thank you to all who have been observers. We appreciate you. We've continued to work on our most vulnerable. You heard Senator Nobles talk about meals for children in schools, but we also have expanded TANF programs to make sure that we're expanding the eligibility, but then also expanding the time, because we know folks are under fire right now and they're struggling. We continue to fund rental and utility assistance for our most vulnerable. We continue to invest in long-term care, which we know that our speaker has been a champion on for a very long time. We invested in educational assistance for our incarcerated folks because we know 95% are released, and if they need opportunity to expand their skills and knowledge and abilities, so when they're released, they have an opportunity to transition into programs or transition into jobs. So we're very passionate about that. And we've continued to protect our retirees. We got COLAs. Continue to get COLAs for our Plan 1 people, which we know that you care about, and continue to have strong pensions. All of these things have occurred because of Democrats in this room and outside of this room. And it's because of you all writing letters. We've protected our environment. We have invested significantly in salmon restoration projects across our state, including in Pierce County, really important ones. We've done safe routes to schools and expanded sidewalk projects, thanks to some good work on our transportation committee to make sure that kids can walk to school safely. We invested in Working Connections childcare opportunities for our apprenticeships and apprentices, all because of Democrats, so that we know that childcare is a huge issue. Any working parent in this room, and there are many of you, you know how hard it is to get childcare, and so making sure that we're paying our providers what they're worth in order for them to be able to provide those opportunities, all because of Democrats. So these are just a few things that we've done over that I've been able to work on and with my colleagues to get passed and signed by the governor. And it really is a teamwork, and it's a partnership that we are working with you all on to make sure that we get folks in office who can continue these efforts, who can continue during our extreme weather events to make sure that we're taking care of our most vulnerable and having cooling centers and warming centers and taking care of people during poor air quality, and then making sure our labor folks, again, get paid what they deserve and get the pensions that they deserve so they can continue to work on our behalf. So thank you very much. We need your support, and please join Team 28. Thank you.
Hey, thanks. So thanks everyone. I am State Representative Dan Bernowski. I have the honor to serve with Senator Nobles and Representative Levitt out in the 28th Legislative District. A little bit about me. I'm a little bit sweaty. I'm a little bit stinky. And that's because I just got here from Furcrest, where I've been knocking on doors all day, talking to voters, introducing them to myself, talking about the things that I care about. Who am I? I'm a 23-year West Pierce firefighter. That gives me access and insight to the community's needs that I think are a little bit unique in the legislature. What comes with that? I'm a 23-year union man. Thank you. I'm a proud union man, and one of the things that brought me to the legislature was fighting on behalf of working families with organized labor, our friends in organized labor, and the things that we care about. I mean, we all want to earn a living wage for the work that we do. We all want workplace safety, so at the end of the day, when you earn that paycheck, you can go home and enjoy it and enjoy time with your family. Pensions was mentioned a lot earlier. That's critically important. We all need to have retirement with dignity, because at the end of the day, if we don't have health and wellness and enough strength in our bodies to be able to enjoy that retirement and enjoy our pension because of safe workplaces, what are we working for? You know, I'm proud of the work I've done the past 4 years in the legislature. Obviously, I collaborate with a lot of partners in this room and across our great state. And I look forward to continuing that work on all the things that I mentioned before. Workers' compensation, safe workplaces, living wages, retirements, access to affordable and quality health care, making sure our transportation system continues to run and function normally. Those things that we expect government to provide for all the investments that we've made in the past and will continue to make in the future. So with that, I do have an ask. I am very grateful for the help that the folks from Indivisible have given to myself and my campaign and my colleagues in the past. Well, you know what? Every 2 years, we're going to need that help, and this summer's no different. So while I'm out there knocking on doors, a few of you have already volunteered your precious, precious time to work with me and my colleagues. I will be eternally grateful for it. But also, there's more work to do. We've got a long way to go before November, and certainly it would be great to have some good numbers coming out of the primary to show the people of my district that, hey, we've got momentum, we've got a lot of support, and we'd like to send back Dan Bernowski, Mari Levitt, and Tawana Nobles back to the state legislature, representing the 28th Legislative District. So with that, my time is up. Thank you for your help in the past. I look forward to your help again, and I certainly don't take it for granted. I am very grateful. Thank you.
Can't you tell already we have great members in the House and Senate and great candidates? The 28th just set us off, like showing folks that, and you're going to get to hear from more candidates and members who are running for re-election later. My name's Lori Jenkins. I'm running for re-election in the 27th Legislative District, where you sit right now, so welcome to the 27th Legislative District. I also want to welcome you, for those of you who are maybe more in the Olympia direction. Olympia Pride yesterday, Seattle Pride today, and starting tomorrow is the month of Pride in Tacoma. So I hope you'll celebrate with me in Tacoma's month of Pride. I also, who was it who's doing, you're doing, Celia, you're doing the postcards? Yeah, so I grew up in southwestern Wisconsin. And so I've been talking a lot to the minority leader in both the Assembly and the Senate in Wisconsin, and I'm starting to do some fundraisers remotely for them within the LGBTQ community to help them turn that state, not just for Biden, but make sure Tammy Baldwin gets elected. And we have a chance in Wisconsin to switch a totally gerrymandered state that was gerrymandered to be Republican into a Democratic state. So I really appreciate the work that you're doing there. And I want to say, well, let me just back up a little bit. I was elected in 2010 in a tough legislative race, and got to serve for a decade, and then ran for Speaker of the House, was elected Speaker of the House in 2020. Last time I ran for re-election, I was telling people that, yeah, in like 6 weeks after I was elected speaker, COVID came, and I thought, Lori, you better do some research, because it probably wasn't that quick, it just seems like it. So I looked. 7 days after I was elected speaker, the first case of COVID in the U.S., confirmed case, was in Kirkland, Washington, right? So that became 2 years of my being Speaker of the House. It probably helps that I have worked in public health for my entire career, and so that did help, I think, guide us in some of the decision making. But it definitely has affected how I move forward. I think that since I became Speaker, I just want to a few things that people have talked about. I mean, since I became Speaker of the House, these are kind of my values, and they're the values of my caucus. Climate Commitment Act was passed. The low carbon fuel standards were passed. The first year I was Speaker, capital gains, we passed that. A couple years ago, we passed the Covenant Home Ownership Bill, the Working Families Tax Credit under my leadership, and historic advancements on police accountability, even though we had some difficult times on it too. But those are the kinds of values that my House Democratic Caucus has. If I were to ask you for things, it is for those of you who are here from the 27th, to please vote for me, but I am not going to ask you to come and doorbell for me. I'm going to ask you to go doorbell for other candidates who are in majority maker districts. I just need to tell you, who's in the majority makes a big difference, right? I started in the House when Republicans were in the majority in the Senate. We had to fight bathroom bills, anti-choice bills, things like that. We're able to make these advancements because we have a majority. So please keep on working for folks who are in more difficult districts and elect them to make sure we keep a majority in the House.
Hello, hi folks. I wrote this down because I have a tendency to go really long, and I want to keep it tight. So my name is Devin Rydell Kelly. By now, most of you have probably heard about my people-powered transformative campaign for the state legislature. For those of you who don't know me, my new friends here, I'm going to introduce myself really briefly and then get into talking about the most widely and deeply felt issues in the state that we're leveraging and elevating in our campaign, because we want all of you to get involved. I was born in California. I joined a mixed family in England for a few years, and later wound up in Idaho for a long time. I lived in a different house every year of my life as a kid, and largely had a single earning parent, my mom, because my parents were working artists and subject to the boom-bust cycle of the arts world. All of this engendered in me a lot of my views and beliefs around today that I've come up with. I made a lot of friends, I met a lot of bullies, and I dealt with a lot of hardship as a young person. This led me to jump into volunteering and activism at a young age, at 18. My first campaign was an interfaith, interracial campaign that won minimum wage for migrant farm workers in Idaho, and it was a formative event for me. Since then, I've struggled in, lost, and won many fights. I've organized in labor, I've organized in the environment, I've organized in criminal justice reform, and it's been a big honor. My wife, Holly, is here with me today. She is born and raised in Tacoma, and her family goes back since before written history here in Pierce County. I've only been here 10 years myself, but I never want to leave. In that time, I bought my house in Hilltop, where I walk to work at my job at an education nonprofit, and I know all of my neighbors. I've also organized with many people in this room and many fights in the city, most recently winning us the boldest tenant protections in the state and a non-police crisis response team. So thank you to all of you for being involved with that. I have many issues we're campaigning on and many platforms on my website, but today I'm going to talk briefly, because I have limited time, about education, housing, and the environment. I lead with housing, because what good is an education if you don't have a stable, safe home life? We need to take care of working folks and end cycles of spiraling homelessness. This means rent stabilization, it means a state social housing developer, and it means incentivizing homeowners to join the fight by giving them low-interest loans to convert their family homes into duplexes and triplexes so they can age in place while providing rent stabilization. We need to be creative. I support education because we need a future where our young people and community can thrive. This means we must fully fund education in an equitable model that takes into account historical racism, redlining, and poverty, and moves away from the per-pupil funding model. Crucially, it means we have to fund counselors, guidance counselors, advisors, and mental health care, not cut them like what's happening right now. And we finally need to make community colleges, state technical colleges, and state universities free. I also support right fit pathways into the trades. I have a lot more to say, but apparently I'm using up my time, so I'm going to move on. We have knocked over 14,000 doors in the last few months. We've talked to 2,500 voters. We've raised $40,000, and we are running a real campaign to transform politics here in Washington. Please go to my website and get involved. Thank you. I had a lot more to say. That's why I did it like that.
Everybody, my name is Kenneth King, and I am running to represent the 25th Legislative District in Senate. I think Devin's stealing a bunch of my points, so I'm going to talk about other stuff today. So one of the things that we're going to have to deal with over the next month is that the conversations are going to get a lot stronger as we're all vying for the same spaces. Because over the next month, that's when we're getting the voters out, right? Now, Marty said earlier that our opponents are hiding their true intentions, and that's very true. So I want you all, as we have these conversations, to say, what does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean, right? All of us are going to be out here talking about housing. All of us are going to be talking about homelessness. All of us are going to be talking about addiction, mental health. Those are the main points that we keep hearing about all the time. But what does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? I'm a behavioral health specialist. My opponent is a real estate investor. How we come at this are coming in very different lenses. I've been working with the courts, I've been working with the hospitals, I've been working with the crisis centers, I'm in the streets. In fact, when I leave here tonight, I'm going to my job as a crisis responder. So how I see mental health, addiction, housing is going to be very different than the real estate investors. One of the big things is that we talk about homelessness, and when our opponents talk about homelessness, they say crime and drugs, that's all it is. 1/3 of our homelessness in Pierce County right now is senior citizens. We cannot blame that on drugs and crime anymore. About half to 1/3 of our youth are LGBTQ youth running away from what they think might be an abusive situation or what is an abusive situation. This is not drugs and crime. Now, drugs and crime will have a part of it. That's where I come in with the fact that I've worked with the therapeutic courts. That's where I've come in with the fact that I've worked in system navigation and diversion programs. And I've been doing this for the last 4 years as hard as I can, and I will continue to keep doing this even when I'm in office. I have no plans on quitting. I'll just take 3 months off of the year so that I can go down to Olympia. Because we have to keep doing this, but we have to do it together. Now, the big ask for me is going to be that you all, what is the word? Endorse me. We've been hitting all the unions. My district has done a wonderful job of getting a lot of union endorsements, but we need more personal endorsements. We need you all to tell your friends, family, your coworkers, hey, Kenneth King, boots on the ground. He's doing the best he can, and he's going to keep doing it. Please visit my website at votekenking.com, or just grab me and talk to me. I love talking, way too much. All right, y'all, thank you very much.
Thanks, Wendy. All right, hi everyone. Cameron Severns, running for state representative in the 25th Legislative District. Thank you so much for having me. Indivisible, you guys are awesome. Thank you for showing up in force on June 14th or June 13th to my canvassing. We're gonna have a few more of those. I'm so grateful for your support and your appreciation for dad jokes as well. So hey, a little bit about me. Look, I call myself a common sense Democrat. I'm a small business owner. I'm a church deacon, and I'm proudly the treasurer of Family Promise of Pierce County, which is doing fantastic work helping unhoused folks all over Pierce County. I grew up in a split household. My dad is a union Democrat. He's a teacher, and my mom is a Republican. She's a school bus driver. So kind of a good combination there. I learned how to engage in healthy political discourse, and I think I am the best fit for the 25th Legislative District because of those values. So growing up in a union home, small business owner, and I think a common sense perspective on the issues that matter to folks in the 25th. Number one, housing. We just spent the afternoon at Cottonwood Mobile Home Park where they are under pressure from predatory corporation called Hearst & Sons, which is forcing folks to have double rent increases, sign leases early, and making their park unsafe. And you know what? I showed up, my wife showed up, and other folks have showed up since January to try to help these folks. Big thanks to TDSA and Tacoma for All for helping to get involved in that as well. And that's what we do on our free time. But yeah, we stepped up to help those folks. We're going to continue to try to help those folks. But we need to protect our manufactured home communities. I'm calling for a 2-year moratorium on the sale of all manufactured home communities in Washington State. We have the most manufactured homes in the 25th legislative district per capita than any other district, and I'm calling for a moratorium until these folks get protections. They deserve protections just like anybody else. My wife grew up in a manufactured home, and those people deserve the same protections as the folks in Medina and the folks on Mercer Island, okay? And that's the type of passion that I'm going to take when I'm elected. So number 2, we're going to really get serious about public safety and safety in our communities. That means gun safety. That means bringing prosperity, and that means non-police responses, as well as some investments in law enforcement, okay? And the third thing is we're going to bring a ton of jobs. One of the things that I'm a huge fan of is the Non-Rural Data Center Tax Preference Act, which is super boring, but it brought 100 jobs, union jobs, to my district, and that's the type of legislator that I'm going to be. Bring those really good union jobs. And I'm proudly going to stand up for reproductive freedom. I'm proud to be endorsed by Planned Parenthood, and I'm going to stand up for reproductive freedom here. So, I'm not sure exactly how much time I have left. I feel like I've been talking really fast for a long time, but so far we've knocked over 6,000 doors. We've got one of the best campaign teams in the entire county. I am shocked that Devin has knocked so many doors. It's really impressive. But we have raised over $57,000, outraising our opponent 2-1. We can win this race with your support. So go to my website, electcamseverns.com, donate, sign up to volunteer. We're going to canvass again multiple times. Come out and support us. We can win this race. Thank you so much.
Ooh, ladies and gentlemen, my slate mate. Here you go. We're dangerous. We're a power pack. I think the 3 of us running in the 25th LD is really causing some problems. My name is Shelley Willis, and I am a candidate for the 25th Legislative District, State Representative, Position 2. Yes. I know, this is a unique journey for all of us, and definitely for the 25th LD, because they've never seen anybody like me. I love to just start by saying one of the things that I'm extremely passionate about, one is that we're giving people another option. The problem is in the 25th LD, and our real reality, our truth is that they've never represented everyone in the legislative district that we reside in. They don't look like what we have right now. They look like all of us. And their lack of representation is really one of the key reasons, and Senator Nobles brought it up, like I had to step up and run. Yes, I ran last year for city council at large. I just considered that a pre-workout for what I'm doing right now. We can talk about all the things that we are all aligned on all the things that we care about around housing, around education. I'm really leaning into workforce and economic development because that's a sweet spot. As a 24-year U.S. Army veteran, I stay battle ready. And it's important to me that we ensure that we have an economy that is driven, but you can't do that without a strong workforce. I'm staying in that vein clearly because one of the issues we also have in our legislative district is that we are not attractive enough for big business to come in and want to actually bring jobs there. We have a real hard problem with permitting and other issues that, yes, are local issues, but also there is a way for us to change that at a state level. We have to find a way to really break down that line that they've created, and it's not even something that we learned today from Cottonwood, that people don't even realize that they're being gentrified out of their places that they dwell in. These are their homes. These are marginalized communities, individuals who don't understand their power, their civic responsibility, and want to stand up for themselves, so we have to stand up for them. The problem is that those individuals that are serving, considering my opponent true, they don't represent them, and they don't have that lived experience, and they don't care about them. They do care, however, about the land that they reside on, and that is what they want. My opponent doesn't care about workforce development programs that are key components for our youth who don't have access to all of the opportunities that they can have once they graduate, to be able to go into apprenticeship programs, to be able to be exploratory with their ideas and see what they can do in unique careers that can get them into employment that is something that they can progress in and grow in. My passion truly is about people. So the purpose-driven work, and I guess you can say today my new black job, is to be representative. We can't deny the elephant in the room. The problem is that I am who I am when I walk in a room. I'm gonna be her every day. I'm gonna represent all facets of me. So I guess that is my new black job, to be someone that is gonna stand up for all people and be representative of all people, and not just the realtors in a specific set, not just individuals who want to find a way to just continue to take and never give and not recognize the needs of all the people within our legislative district and beyond. So if I can be that voice and stand alongside my peers and do that, I want to be that voice. I appreciate your support, your endorsement, and let's get this thing done.
Wow, wow, thank you. My name is Yana G. Cook, but before I begin my little talk, I want you to know that Erasmo Roos is in an airplane right now, a jet, on his way back from Washington, D.C. in a speaking assignment. And he's my slate mate, and I'm very proud to be sharing that. It's an honor because he's so articulate and so bright, and I have such great hope for him. He, last year, defeated a 20-year incumbent in the school district of Bethel, and with 97 votes. So he's a working man, and he's so brilliant. So I am proud to have him as a slate mate. Just so you know what we cover, it's from Ashford to Eatonville to Frederickson to Graham to Spanaway to Roy to McKenna, and across the river into Thurston County, Yelm, and the tribe, the Nisqually tribe, and Lacey. So we have about 760 square miles. It's a big chunk to cover. So we would appreciate your help, and check out his website, please. Well, now, my name is Yana G. Cook, and I'm running for the 2nd Legislative District. And I want you to know there has not been a Democratic representative in the 2nd Legislative District in that redheaded stepchild area that we're from since 2008. Marilyn Rasmussen, 2008, lost by less than 1%. And that was the last Democrat that we've had to represent all the families throughout Pierce County, our area, the 2nd LD. Now, just a little bit about myself. I come from a union and military family who taught and showed the way to give back to your community and to be involved in volunteerism. I was the first woman, or the first family member to graduate from college, and it was from the Evergreen State College. Go Gooey Ducks! And one of the reasons I'm running is because I care deeply, and I want, both Erasmo and I want to bring hope to the 2nd LD. There are Democrats there, and we are knocking on their doors, and we knocked on their doors, February, March, and April in a listening campaign, and we found out what their concerns are. It's not about a platform or a party. It's about our constituents and the suffering they've had for 16 years. And so I also care deeply, and I'm also very, very disgusted with the lack of effective representation. So I also have 2 MAGA opponents. One is named Matt Marshall, and he's an insurrectionist and good buddies with Alex Jones, if you know who that is. And also Sheriff Snazza from out of Thurston County, a constitutionalist, and he wants to make laws, but only the laws he agrees to. And my third opponent is a Dino who wants to, threw his name in the ring as a Democrat, and he is not anything but. So I do want to say, too, that we are trying very, very hard to knock on 4,000 homes, so we would appreciate your help there. We have a plan, and that plan is going to coincide with all of our other help, and that plan is to fully fund K through 12. In the Constitution of Washington State, that is what is supposed to be done. And we have a plan to take those revenue streams that have not been counted, and that means the capital gains, that's a new stream, the cannabis, which is a stream, and the lotto, and get that fully funded with a lot of help, bipartisan help. We plan on doing that, and that's one of our biggest points of priorities, as well as so much else. So I know I'm out of time, but if you want to know more about our priorities and what we're doing, please check out our webpage. And thank you. I want to thank Tacoma Indivisible for fighting and protecting democracy. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Richard Miller, and I'm running for state representative in District 29, House Position 1. Thank you. Thank you. I'm not supposed to be here, but I am. If you look around this room and you look at the people in the room, most of the people in this room don't share the same story as me. Most of the people in this room don't look like me. But we need people. We need to bring the community back together, and my goal is to bring the community back. When we were young, when I was young, we knew our neighbors. We looked out for our neighbors. We looked out for our community, and we've become a divisive group. We've become a place where we only are looking out for ourselves. We're only looking out for people that think like us, and we all need to look out for each other. We're in a very trying time in the world right now. When I'm out knocking on doors, I hear people that are scared for the future. I hear people that still have hope, but they're worried about where their kids are going to end up. I have two beautiful daughters here, and I'm running for them. I'm running for their friends. I'm running for our schools. Thank you. I'm a Northwest native. I was born right here in University of Washington Hospital. I moved to District 29 over 20 years ago. I relocated back to District 29 about 5 years ago. I never envisioned myself running for politics. But I'm running because we need leaders that care. We need leaders that believe in collaboration. We need leaders that believe in being kind, in listening, in being willing to communicate with others. I'm a small business owner. I'm a single father. I'm a man of color. I see the challenges that many people are facing today. It's very personal for me. I have a sister that suffered with schizophrenia most of her life. She lives in Spokane in a mental health institution. I know what it's like for families struggling with challenges. I work in the real estate field. I see our housing crisis. We have a serious housing crisis right now that we need change to happen. In District 29, gentrification is happening. In District 29, people are being moved out of their family homes. Housing is becoming unaffordable for people to buy their first home. We need to make change. My kids' school, they go to Franklin Pierce School District, is an underfunded school. When a teacher doesn't show up in one of their classes, they get moved to a different grade because there aren't substitutes. When a bus isn't running, they put up a post online, say the bus isn't running, hope you can get your kids to school. These things shouldn't be happening in 2024. These things shouldn't be happening in Washington State. We need to come together to make sure that these things aren't happening. Housing is important. Public safety is important. When I'm knocking on doors, public safety is one of the most priority things that people talk about. They want to feel safe. They want to feel like they can go to the store and not see it boarded up every week because someone broke into it, right? These things are very, very important. We need to be looking out for each other. I grew up with a father who worked at Boeing in the union. My mother was a registered nurse, also in the union. I understand what labor can do. I've been a community organizer in our community the last 5 years, helping children and families. I've helped serve over 6,000 children and families by partnering with community members. What I do is called community serving community. We don't do charity, we help people. My opponent is mainly funded by PACs. I haven't taken one PAC dollar because our community is what's gonna change the future. So today, I'm asking for your support in knocking on doors. I'm asking for your support with donations because District 29 needs help. We are not gonna be forgotten and we're ready for change. Thank you so much.
I guess I'm tail end Charlie here. Hi, my name is Brian Gunn. I am running for position 2 in the 31st Legislative District. And I just want to say, what a great group of candidates we have here today. I just want to take a minute and thank. I heard Alexander Vindman being interviewed recently, and he said, to run is to serve. So thank you, all of you, for running for office. And to Richard, you belong here. Thank you. So a little bit about me. I was, like so many folks I've heard here say, I grew up in a union household. My dad was a union member, and I remember when he went out on strike and how difficult that was. We ended up on food stamps, and it was tough. But you know what? Because of the union strike, he got better salary. We got better health care. So I am very proud to have gotten the endorsement of the Washington State Labor Council, COBE, and to have their sole endorsement for my seat. I also am very proud that I've earned the endorsement of the Washington State Committee for Diversity and Inclusion. That's important. They recognize that while I am an old white man, I am an ally for all of those folks. I will be a voice for all of those folks. We need to lift up all voices. And similarly, the Stonewall Democrats also endorsed me. So there's that. But I'm running in the 31st Legislative District, and we are represented by 3 Republicans, one of whom is Phil Fortunato. Phil, of course, we hope is not going to win his race for insurance commissioner. But part of the reason that I am running is because we in the 31st, we have to keep building. We have to be able to bring a serious challenge to the Republican voices that have been the only voices to be heard from the 31st, and we have to be able to run somebody, a strong challenger against Fortunato in 2 years from now. And I'll tell you, thank you. And I'll tell you the messages that's resonating with the voters. I was similarly out canvassing. Well, actually, I was out at a fair today. I was out at the Buckley Log Show. And I was talking to folks from all sorts of backgrounds. We're seeing folks in our district from all kinds of backgrounds now that we didn't see before. So we have an opportunity to actually bring some change. And the message that's resonating with them is, hey, look, our small towns are not getting the investments in infrastructure that they need. What I'm hearing, we've got folks who live in places like Carbonado, Wilkeson. These are, they have no grocery store. They have no pharmacy. There are people living in the woods. You want to talk about the homeless problem in the cities? Well, we've got the homeless problem out in the rural areas as well. And all of this needs to be addressed. And I've told them this needs to be a purple district. I want to be the voice in the room with the Democrats to bring the investment for infrastructure to our district and to the small towns and the rural areas and the farms. Thank you.
Okay, I'll try to speak louder. Can everybody hear me? Okay, so I just wanted to say, please, we really need your help with door knocking. We have sign-in sheets right near where Megan is sitting. She's pointing. And the sign-in sheets are divided by different areas, like Puyallup, Tacoma, and Lakewood area. So, they're labeled that way. So if you could sign up, we will get in touch with you. You don't have to necessarily door knock. We could use drivers. We could use postcard writers. You just let us know what you'd like to do. Everybody is really valuable to us. And people, the benefits of door knocking, I just want to mention that, you can meet people from all walks of life. And contrary to what some people, some perceptions are, quite a few of them want to hear what you have to say, about the candidate, because they don't get the information necessarily on flyers, and like I mentioned earlier, on newspapers. Now, Richard Miller mentioned, underfunding of his child's school. I mean, the initiatives, people don't even know about the initiatives, and we need to talk to them about that in person. That is to me, that is really important. And doorbelling allows you to engage with real people rather than with your TV or social media. And Indivisible Tacoma members will be knocking on doors every week until the November election for our priority candidates. Please sign up with one of our 3 election teams, or 4, either 3 or 4 of them that I mentioned. And I just wanted to mention a few of the upcoming dates. First of all, Indivisible Tacoma has an email, so if you have, speaking to the candidates, if you have door knocking dates happening, please email indivisibletacomachapter@gmail.com, and we will let people know that those dates are happening, and so we can get some people to door knock for you. Devin Kelly, he'll be door knocking every day. So yeah, so just, and oh really, I didn't know that. And I don't know if Tawana's still here, but she's really organized. She's got several dates coming up. And Rosie Ayala, let's see, July 14th is Tawana Nobles, and we've got several here, July 21st. And also there's Emily Randall, she needs some door knockers in LD 27. Janie Hitchen in Pierce County position 6, thank you. She really could use your help. I mean, we need to keep Pierce County Council blue. And it's like, yeah, because, I hear people, when I knock on doors for Janie and Ryan, that people say, well, I haven't seen anything, I pay all these taxes and I haven't seen anything done, but Bruce Danmeyer, thank you, has vetoed 8 times. So of course things aren't going to get done. So I just want to mention that we do need people to educate those on the doors. And please sign up. We have that table, and we'd be glad to have you as door knockers. Thank you very much.
Vicki is the door knocker champion, and we have several others in here who are really out there, and I just want to reiterate that you don't need to necessarily be the person on the team who talks to the house or the resident. You might be the person who hands the lit, or in my case, spots the house numbers, different roles. But going out and talking to people is really the way to go. We have lots of other opportunities. We're doing about 18 festivals and events this year where we have a table, so we need volunteers for that. So there are lots of things to do. So right now, as you're sitting there, you are meditating on which candidate and which activity, which task really gets you excited, and before you go out that door, you will commit to something, I'm sure. One of these great people in here wants your commitment. So that's what we're looking for before you leave. And the sign-up table, everybody said that. Now, this next few minutes is for talking to the candidates. They're going to hang around, a lot of them, and they want to hear from you. You can connect with them personally and talk to each other and network, because we have people from every corner of Pierce County, and it's such a chance. So talk to each other, talk to the candidates, commit, and then eat cake. Thanks for coming, everybody.